Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Right, an update on the van. This has long been coming. I should have done this months ago, but I've just not had time and not had the inclination. Right, so we got the van back on the 17th of February. We went to Makins Lakes, as you saw, then went to the NEC. So what was wrong with her? Well, we bought her, as I said, we bought her in the October 2023. In April 2023, she went to Spinney's with an engine management light. They didn't fix it. The people that had it before me took it off to another garage, did something with it, presumably had the DPF cleaned, got the engine management light taken off, and then sold it to the dealer that we bought it from, which, you know, some would say is fraudulent because they're not declaring it. Anyway, Spinney's had the van for 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks. First off, they thought it was the EGR that was blocked. Oh my lordy. Wow, that was a big old aircraft that's gone over. It scared the birdies. Can we see what it is? Oh, it was a 4-propeller. A big old, like a Hercules or something like that. Amazing. Sorry. Right, so, yes, so Spinney's first off said it was a clogged EGR valve. And then they said, oh, no, you've got a problem with your DPF. So that was a week and a bit into them having it. So we said, fine, fix it, because I'm not paying for it. You've got to do it. Spinney's came back to the finance company, and the finance company said, we can only get one from Germany, and it's going to take a week. So I said, right, fine, get it from Germany, get it fitted. So another week went by. So this is like week 2. And then they said, oh yeah, you can't have the van back. There's no engine in it. It's rolling stock. The engine's there waiting to have the DPF feed. Right, so we waited another week. So this is like the 3rd week. And midway through the end of the day of the 3rd week, I had a phone call from the finance company to say, the van's ready, pick it up. They've replaced the DPF. They did say to me, though, that the DPF is a part that shouldn't break and is non-serviceable, and you can't fix it. You have to replace it. And for a van that's as old as ours, it shouldn't need replacing. It shouldn't be broke. So they replaced the whole of the DPF because, got my little bag here, they left me that. Yeah, so van registration, our name, DPF broken. And what they gave me was that. And that is part of the honeycomb filter from the DPF. So that is what captures the soot particles, and then that gets burnt off via the EGR and when you do a regen. So the gases get passed back through that gets mega hot and it burns it off. But can you see how it's cracked? So that is like a circle, isn't it, in the DPF? Is like a whatever filter, or maybe it's square, maybe it's a square filter. And then that should be connected somewhere, and it's obviously going to be a lot longer, a lot bigger. And that is why the engine management light was coming on the van. That was causing soot build-up through the engine, through the AGR system, through the manifold, through the MAF and the MAP sensors, and through the exhaust. And that's why the exhaust was sooty. Okay, so again, from the previous video, this is what we've had done to the van, that I've had done, and that's what they've had done. So first off, we have this taken out. Okay, this is, as you can see there, that's the the TDI tuning box. Okay, so that goes onto the manifold. Oh, goes onto the manifold. Lots of spidery cables. And all that was wrapped around the engine bay, plugging into various bits and bobs, and that was plugged into like the big bit that goes into the bit of the engine. There's a purple connector in the engine bay that plugged into. Okay, so that was taken out originally in March 2024, so it's not that was causing it. Okay, we then had got loads of other bits in here and all. We had, oops, sorry, reached down there because it fell out. We had the map sensor. Okay, so that is the manifold absolute pressure sensor. We had that fixed, replaced. So that's one of these. I'll put a picture in here. Okay. We then had the map sensor. No, the MAF sensor, which is the mass airflow sensor, which is here. And that's the location in the engine bay where that is, near the air filter. We then had the throttle body replaced, which is here again. And that was the one that shouldn't have been replaced at all, because you'd only need one in the lifetime of the van and not three. So it's had three. Okay. And then we had the turbo pressure solenoid, which is that. So that's the one that came out of the van originally. I replaced it with one from eBay, which was a Fiat one geared for the van, the 250 engine with the right numbers. And then that was replaced again by the other garage, because that was the wrong one. So it's had three of those. And when we had it, it was missing the air filter on the end. So that is a spare air filter that came from the eBay one. There's now one of those in, and this item goes here at the front of the engine behind the vacuum chamber, which is that black thing on the front there with the cables coming out of it. So all this stuff to be taken out and replaced, I think I've paid about £3,000 for fitting and all the components. This is what I had done at the Fiat garage. This is the full service, the belts and the oils changed and the filters. So they did all that servicing. Couldn't do the MOT because the engine management light was on. They couldn't do the engine management light because after 2 weeks of having it on site in their garage, they decided that they didn't have a ramp big enough to be able to drop the engine. They didn't have a space big enough to drop the engine, even though they've got massive ramps to do MOTs and things like that. I suppose they couldn't fix the bay up with my van. So I had somebody collect it from Chester, take it to Stoke, clean the DPF, do the MOT, which I don't understand how it managed that with the engine management light on. And then after that was still broke, and that's when we had it taken by the finance company to Spinney's to get fixed. So this is the bill from Spinney's, and that's how much the dealer has had to pay to get this van fixed. Now, we obviously paid over the odds for the van because we paid that much more than the van was worth, because it was post-COVID and we wanted the van and we needed it. But they paid for it, we've not had to pay for it, so that's like almost £5,000 that they've had to pay for to fix the van. But the van now is fixed. She runs like a good one. There's no soot coming out the exhaust at all. The turbo kicks in. There's no lights. Touch wood. There's no lights on the dashboard at all. And we've done 2,000 miles in her since February, going from site to site up to Scotland, across to Wales, across to Lincoln and Newark, blah, blah, places that we've been everywhere. We've been all over. And now we're continuing our adventures by going down south. We are going to Tewkesbury, to Bath. We are going to the back of Beyond is a site. And then we're going to whiz across to Kent because I've got to go back into the office again. So we're going to try and do that. But anyway, this video should have been out months ago. But as I say, I've just not had a chance to record it not had the peace and quiet. I've got some now, thankfully. There's nobody around at the moment, so that's why I'm doing this. And that's it. So that is how Connie went from being poorly for 15 months to being fixed and feeling like a new van. And I'm so happy because it means we're going to keep her and we're not getting rid of her and we're going to go on our jollies with her. So there you go. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you understand now why we've not gone very far and we've not done many videos, and I'm behind just because of the anguish that this has caused me and the unhappiness. So now, big smiley face, and we're happy. So on that note, I'll say adieu, goodbye, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free and costs you nothing. Give the video a thumbs up and share the video if you know somebody that's had this similar problem with these lights on. I'll put a description of what problems we've had in the text of the video, so you know what error messages we've had and basically the fixes that we did. So that's it. So thanks for watching. Come back again for another video. Hopefully by now I will have been able to get my videos back into the right order and back into the right time, so we're fairly close to being live and putting them in a week at a time. But we'll see. All right, thanks guys. See you later. Bye.